Good morning, folks. This is Greg Judy at Green Pastures Farm. Today, I just moved the bowls and keeping up with my daily cedar trimmings, cutting out the baby cedars that are out here in this pasture from the winter stockpile that the bulls are on. We got 63 bulls in here, and we're moving them onto a fresh piece of stockpile, especially when it's really wet. And we are stretching our stockpile by giving them a little bit of hay. This morning they're not getting any hay because it's just too wet. And I want to keep my animals spread out. Keep them spread out. When it rains a lot, it won't stop raining. It rained all day yesterday, and I am not complaining. It's the first time we've had that kind of rain since July of 2022. There's water setting on top of the ground. So when you start getting water sitting on top of the ground, you know you're soaked up pretty well, and you're getting runoff into the ponds. And we've got some ponds that are down really bad. But anyway, the topic this morning is cedars. And I think I cut around 50, something like that. And most of them are 1 to maybe 2 inches in diameter. Some are not even an inch. Some of them are half an inch. But I wanted to show y'all something. This is kind of important. This is what can happen when you brush hog. So, and I did it for many years, and Jan and I leased a big farm back in the late 90s. And the guy had brush hogged for 50 years and had never got out of the tractor seat. And he had brush hogged these cedars for so many years that this stump right here, it just kept growing and growing and growing. He never killed the tree, and it would keep sending up stuff like this. And so we got the farm. We went out. We mowed them down with a chainsaw. Some were probably 3-inch diameter. But this one, I was able to get it with a lopper. And you can tell that this tree's pretty old. See that red in there? On a little bitty cedar tree, you don't get red. So you know this stump had grown and grown and grown, and there was an appendage. So what happened is when he brush hogged that off, he left one of these right down here. And it took off. It took off. And when I cut this down, there's probably 3 foot of tree there now. And if I hadn't got it, it'd have went to something like that. 40 feet tall. No grass. I want to show you how much grass is growing underneath this cedar tree. None. And why is that? Well, it's because of these needles. These needles are dropping off there, and the other thing, of course, is there's no sunlight under there. But the cedar drops these needles constantly, and those are acidic. So acidic needles dropping on ground where you want a pH of 7, your pH is going to be below 5, probably 4.2, 4.5, something like that. You can see the pile I cut here. These are all going to go into the brush. So when you cut your cedars, don't leave them laying like that out there in your pasture. Because all you did, every needle on that cedar is going to fall off, okay? It's going to fall off on that ground right there. And you just killed out a 2-foot circle of grass by cutting that cedar down and not picking it up. That's why, to me, it's absolutely will ruin you to brush hog them. Not only do you not kill them, you're chopping up all that cedar limbs and throwing, get out of here. Go find something else to rub on. They like rubbing on this for you. Every time I move away from it, y'all go find something else to rub on. Like a cedar tree. Like, well, we would, but you just cut them all down, Greg. Anyway, it only takes a minute. when I get done this video, I'm gonna pick those up and they're gonna go in there where there's no grass. They can drop all their needles they want in that big cedar tree right there. I don't care, because there's no grass in there anyway. But see, that's one of the things I gotta make a plug on these, and I'm not a dealer. I want to make that plain right at the front. People are starting to get upset because Greg's marketing, so oh, he's making a lot of money on that. No, I'm not. I'm just telling you what works. We use these, okay? And the only reason I'm using it because it's the best lopper on the face of the earth. And it is called, maybe I ought to be a dealer. Maybe I shouldn't show you the name on it until I call them up. I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna cheat you all. Check this out, folks. There it is, Felco, made over in Switzerland. They're not cheap, I'm gonna warn you. They're not cheap. But I've got one of these for each. I've got my four-wheelers, the racks. I keep one in the four-wheeler racks. And I also keep one at the house. So if I want to go lop some cedars, I got the best lopper made in the world. Why is this the best one made? Well, you can't break them, number one. And if you do booger up the edge on that, I've had this one for 6 years. And look at that cutting edge. I've never sharpened it, ever. And you can take these bolts out right here where my thumb's at on both sides, and you can just buy the shear right here on the end, the cutters. You don't have to buy the whole thing. You don't need to buy that whole thing. This is they make several models, quite a few different models. I like this one because it's light, and it's 18 inches. It goes up here in my rack really well. It doesn't take up my whole rack. And let me tell you what, it's sharp and it'll knock down some cedars. I mean, if you can get the limb, if you can get that tree in there, in those cutters, it's going down. It's going down. And you can put a lot of torque on those. I've got strong young men working for me. And you know what? They haven't broke a handle out of these yet. Those cheap ones you buy at your local hardware store, I shouldn't say local, you know, anywhere. You can go to Walmart in the garden center and get a pair of what they call them loppers. Well, they might last you a couple months, but you're gonna bounce up against a big one, a big cedar or a bigger tree, and you're gonna try cutting it and you're gonna break the handles on it. You're not gonna break the handles on that Felco. Well, I shouldn't say you're not going to. If you're Charles Atlas and you got arms 8-inch diameter and you're just a beast of a man, you might. But I'm telling you what, if you do, you can get new ones. Just order that part right there. You don't need to order the whole thing. But just by keeping up with these cedars, as we move the cows across this farm, I'm kind of keeping up with them. And we'll come back and get the autumn olives later. That's an invasive species down there. They're called autumn olives. They came from China. I think it was back in the 20s. It was way back there. And they brought them over here as ornamentals. And then the conservation department started selling them as wildlife bundles of all things. I can remember that. I used to buy them. Can you believe that? I planted autumn olives from the conservation department. Well, you know, if they're selling them, they must be good, right? They didn't sell them very long. I think it was about 5 to 7 years. Then they realized the mistake they'd made. These things have millions of red berries on them, and the birds love them, and they just poop them out all over your farm. So where you had one, now you've got, you know, 1,000 of them. Because if that bird eats it and it goes through the gut of a bird, he poops it out, it's gonna come up. So anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and get off of here. I just had to show you my loppers, the Felco. Love these things. They make several different models. This is my model for lopping. It's just so darn light. I bet that thing doesn't weigh. I don't know. It doesn't weigh 2 pounds. It's aluminum. Aluminum handles with steel cutters on them. Just an unbelievable design. And, you know, if you brush hog them, this is what you're going to have. That dude's coming back. But if you get every single limb, cut them off flush with the ground, they're done. And you don't have to paint the stump on a cedar. You don't paint the stump on a cedar. You don't need to. They don't come back if you get all the limbs on them. So that, I'm going to sign off, and everyone have a good day. And I had to give a plug for the cows we got on our website. We got a bunch of them. I think there's 450 we have left of the bred cows. And they're South Pole Cross. They're in McAllen, Texas. And if you're looking for some really good cows to start your own grass genetic grazing operation with, these are bred to our Judy bulls. And they're going to be calving here. They're going to be guaranteed bred. And just a really good way to get started in the grazing business with the right size cows. Anyway, I'm going to get out here. Folks, have a good one.